So you were rooting for Calgary, right?
Remains a mystery.
Man walking behind us. Haven't seen him with the group in a little bit. Just exciting to see Turk back, and any maybe progress update there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's progress back on the ice. With the jersey on, I thought he looked good today. I mean, then we'll be careful where he goes. I wouldn't expect him anytime soon, but progress for sure.
Going back to last night, Drew left with 7:46 remaining, didn't return. Is there an injury issue?
No, I think everything is precautionary, is what I would call it. So not a concern. I mean, we've said he'll be dealing with something the rest of the way, so he's never going to be 100. But we just want to make sure, schedule, minutes, timing, all those kinds of things, that we keep him relatively fresh.
Will he play tomorrow?
I'm not sure.
I could be wrong, but it seemed like he got maybe a little banged up earlier in the game, left for a little bit, came back, and then left the second time. Is that kind of the same thing that was going on?
Good guess. I don't know beyond that, but it's a good guess.
Have you seen a better almost first career NHL goal than the one that Jeff Malot scored yesterday?
Yeah, that was sad. Like, again, package it with the real first NHL fight. You got yourself a highlight video there in 2 clips. Yeah, it was a beauty. It was, and it was offside. It was a right call. But he'll get another one.
Now that you've clinched, does seeding or a specific matchup in the first round matter at all to you?
No, I wouldn't say it matters. I mean, we're going to get a really good hockey team, and there's 16 teams left that make the playoffs after battling for 6.5 months. You're getting a really good hockey team. So we're getting one of them, whichever one it is. It's going to be a good team.
Is there some of the pressure off, though, in these last 6 or 7 games?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I wouldn't say. You never want to jinx anything, but I thought I was talking about the playoffs in the media before. We got an X on our. I felt pretty comfortable, and you guys could have made all kinds of fun of me if we didn't make it, because I mentioned playoffs and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it's been some time where we felt pretty comfortable that we were going to be in the playoffs, and yeah, so it doesn't change too much.
You mentioned last night when I can't remember who asked. Do you start to rest people, or you manage your roster down the stretch, and do you worry about sort of overthinking those kinds of things? Because you've got a little less than 2 weeks now. Just instead of just do what you do.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in coaching for a long time. These situations come up often when you're in the playoffs, and it's always a discussion. And I've seen it done both ways, and you can say both ways has worked, both ways has failed. It's always you get judged after the fact, right? That's the problem with making those decisions. But I do think at times all of us are guilty of overthinking things, and so be on guard for that. That's part of our discussion. It's just be on guard for overthinking.
Sorry. Does the rescheduled game against Calgary come into your thinking at all, or is it too early to think?
Yeah, it's just too early. Just way too early for that. Yeah.
Going back to Turk and Malot in the fourth line a little bit. Obviously, the fourth line was playing so well, kind of taking over games until both of those guys went out. What do you make of the 3 that you have on that line now?
I think it's taken them just a little bit of time, but I really like their last 2 games in particular. So yeah, I mean that's an important line. We saw that when those 3 were together, how much they added to our team. So it's nice to see that line coming together as in its current form, because I do think they give us a push. It might only be 7 or 8 minutes, but they're important minutes.
Jim, I heard your post-game comments about maybe a difference between the first and the second.
Yeah, didn't like
as much as you can tell us what changed to go good in the second or improve in the second.
Well, I mean, what does it mean? We played slow in the first period. We had opportunities to use our speed and forecheck, and we just tried to slow the game down and be a little bit more controlled. And Edmonton, not unlike us, does a good job. They get guys back in the neutral zone, and now they got 4 or 5 guys there. Sure, you've got the puck, but now they're waiting for you. So I thought in the second and third we played more direct, and we're willing to put it in and not let them get organized, and just go in and do a little more of the hard work to try to have some more ozone.
Yeah, a word that was used in the first was methodical. Does that fit kind of
Yeah,
like?
yeah, it does. It was like just like this, where we felt our advantage in that game was just get our speed going and get a chance to get in their zone. We didn't give ourselves some chances. I don't have to get into specifics.
Yeah.
You guys saw them. There was a few players.
Today, Coach, a lot of, it seemed like a little extended time on the power play at the end. Is that just maybe finding you got some practice time or something specific you wanted to work on?
No, that's mostly it. You know, we haven't had a lot of practice time, and usually do the power play and a pregame skate. And it's quick. We want to get the guys off the ice. Today we had a chance. We didn't do much. We had a chance to really, not high intensity, to really get some good reps in. So I thought it was a good day that way.
At this time of the year, I imagine you can't really introduce a ton of new stuff. Is it more just refining and working on the things that you just want to do well that you've always tried to do?
Yeah, right. I mean, not new maybe, but maybe we've moved some people around a little bit. So see what that looks like. So that was probably part of what today was with today too.
You've got a few young players who will be experiencing the NHL playoffs for the first time, but you've also got the majority of the roster who are playoff veterans. As a coach and the coaching staff, do you see the veterans handling the role of explaining to the younger players what to expect, how to treat the end of the season, that sort of thing?
I would assume that's happening. I haven't heard it. I assume, like, in the room, there's a lot of things that get discussed that I don't hear, and I would assume they're mostly good stuff, like you're talking about, using that example specifically. But I don't ask, those guys to say, hey, explain it to them. I just think as good pros, and where there's a number of them in there, that's just part of the maturation process for the young players to talk to those guys. They went through it as young players. It's just a bit of a cycle. And that's why everybody really would tell you the leadership of your team is so important.
Is it helpful as a coaching staff to not have to have those conversations with the group because you have so many veterans who are experienced now in the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it is like nothing you've ever played before once the puck drops in the playoffs. So I think a little bit for our style and some of the games we've been in, that we've had tight games, probably is a benefit for the young players. But once it gets going in the playoffs, she gets amped up.